Greetings, I'm Shaun McLaren, and today I'll be playing some modern Jeskai, testing out Spell Queller in Jeskai. First saw a list playing 4 Spell Quellers piloted by Tom Strong at the USA World Magic Cup qualifier, so I am trying out my own version here. It's got a lot of your basic Jeskai elements, and then basically surrounding them with Spell Queller, which hasn't shown up in Jeskai really, although it's made some waves in collected company lists. It has some good things going for it in Modern, despite it being a Bolt format, and Spell Queller not being great against Bolt. But it is good against, say, Cavern of Souls, since it can exile the card, exile a Thought-Knot Seer, even if it's cast off of Cavern of Souls. And it is good against combo decks that won't have a way to remove it. It's just going to be a hard counter, basically, for most of their spells that aren't over 4 mana. And if they don't have a way to remove it, then it's just going to stick around, deal damage, and have a spell underneath it. The rest of the deck is fairly standard. We have Peak, which is nice with Snapcaster Mage, and nice with Spell Queller as well. You can sort of plan your turns ahead of time, and you want to be leaving up a lot of mana on your opponent's turn for your 3-drops, so being able to cast Peak instant speed makes it better than Probe, and you can also flash it back with Snapcaster at end of turn. Then we have Serum Visions, pretty standard nowadays, just for fixing draws. 4 bolts, 4 paths. Remands are nice, since this deck is a little more aggressive than most Jeskai lists, so Remand is extra nice. Clique also lets you see your opponent's hand, and is good disruption. Good to have the option to either Clique or Spell Queller, depending on what your opponent does. I'm also trying out Bedlam Reveler, which I like as a one of, since they're not going to multiples, but it's been pretty good for me, just basically as a way to refuel your hand later on in the game. 1 Nahiri, which I just like as a planeswalker, even when you're not ulting for Emrakul. Cryptic Commands play nicely with the tempo strategy. Good top end for tapping down your opponent's team, getting in the last points of damage with Colonnade and your flyers. And 1 Ancestral, sort of the same idea as Bedlam Reveler. It's good to draw one of them on turn 1, so hopefully that happens. Mana base, most interesting card is Moorland Haunt. We have slightly more creatures than usual, and Moorland Haunt is going to be good for pecking away that extra bit of damage that we might need to get in. The sideboard, we have Explosives, which is great. Dispel and Negate for combo decks, control decks, etc. The Mirror, that sort of thing. Stony Silence, which doesn't see as much play because Affinity isn't as big, but is still devastating against Lantern, Affinity, Tron, that sort of thing. Anger as your mass removal of choice at the moment, because it's good against Dredge. Another Clique just sort of goes in against whatever if you need an extra slot. Wear Tear is great. Another Nahiri for exiling big creatures like Reality Smasher, Tarmogoyf, or Blood Moon. Crumble as our card against Tron. Supreme Verdict, good against Bant Eldrazi and creature decks. And Gideon as well, good against those big creature decks, similar to Nahiri, but just more resilient. I think that's it for now, so might as well jump into some queues and see what happens.